Welcome to Talk with Interns in International Organizations. Today is a little different from the previous interviews because we invited the interviewer of the interns, Mr. Christian Henriksen from EUCPTID and JUNE. First of all, could you give us a brief introduction of yourself?
Hello, my name is Christian Henriksen. I'm head of the Innovation and Technology Advisory Board for JUNE in China. I'm also the acting director for EUCTPID for Northern Europe. Both are European international organizations that seek to connect entrepreneurship on the global stage. So it's a very exciting job for me, and I meet a lot of different people from different industries from all around the world.
So, as an interviewer, what are the requirements for interns in international organizations? Or what qualities and competencies do you prefer when interviewing interns?
We really prefer candidates that have the ability to have basically a broad mindset. We are often put in situations where we are basically managing people from different parts of the world and may have different cultural background. They might have different opinions about topics. They might have different understanding of legality in each country. So the candidates we're looking for is people that have a broad mindset, so they are capable of having different perspectives on the same topic. Because often we are asked to be the middleman that is supposed to provide the compromise or the solution to a certain topic. So we're looking especially for candidates with a certain amount of maturity that can reach a level where they can have a perspective of one topic from different angles. That's one thing. We also looking for candidates that have a certain level of comfort in taking actions. We need candidates that are able to work in a team. They know their position, they know their role. But we also need candidates that understand that their actions will have impact, their decisions will have impact. So it's a balance of finding the mature candidate which has a perspective of understanding that they need to work in an organization where decisions need to be made, sometimes on a speedy basis. Other times they may need to seek advice before they make any actual decisions. So that's, of course, also what we're looking for. We're also looking for candidates with a certain English level, perhaps not an advanced English level, but a conversational level. In our work, we often talk to people, foreigners, so to speak. So English on a conversational level where you can participate in small talk and negotiations and pick up the phone or do scheduling. This kind of stuff is very important to us. We do have candidates with a great vocabulary, but we really do prefer candidates that are able to engage in a conversation. We find people skills in that sense is very important.
Yes.
I will also say that things like the ability to be good at office work, write a proper email, understand that they can communicate with their team members in such a sense that things get done, understanding of the division of tasks. So we have candidates that are able to work in a team. That's very important. And sometimes that requires a little bit of flexibility of the candidate. And we are basically, sometimes we're looking for candidates who actually have done organizational work before, maybe in their community or part of projects, because understanding the process of dividing an overall task into smaller tasks and then completing that is very important for our daily work. And we find that candidates that have experience in working in projects before, where the small problems is not so much the issue, but they have a bigger perspective of understanding the final goal of what we're doing, that's really preferable to us. And then finally, I'll say candidates that have an interest or research a little bit and follow the news, understand a little bit about global trends and perhaps a little bit about culture, that's a big bonus for us as well.
Could you share with us about the career path in international organizations? For example, how did you become the head of Innovation and Technology Advisory Board, JUNE China?
Right. First of all, I want to reiterate that we're actually very much looking for candidates that have a broad perspective. That also goes in regards to their own career path and their own understanding of how their growth should happen. For me particularly, well, first of all, I'm a Danish citizen. I immigrated to China in 2014, where I started my own tech company here in China. Before that, I have a career of 30 years within international business and IT. I've been running global projects, and I was very happy to learn how to manage teams across borders, but also solve issues across borders. So I learned a lot in managing teams that have a diverse background. Now, my interest in international work, I guess it started early. In 1991, I actually immigrated to USA, and I had 1 year as a high school student in the state of Oregon. And that was an excellent experience. And I can tell you, even though I was a young man at that time, I came back a changed man, because I believe that early international experience or travel for young students is very important, because it gives them the perspective of the world outside of where they're residing. And it certainly formed my future decisions, and I'm sure it will help many other students as well to have that experience. So when back in China, I was offered the position in June and EU CTPID, it was a clear yes for me. And I'm extremely delighted to bring my experience and expertise to the table.
For those who want to seek work in international organizations, they would like to know whether a job in an international organization is for life, or will they face losing their jobs?
Okay, let me answer it this way. I think your perspective should be a little bit different when you enter an international organization. I think you should consider it a career path. In a career path, you're not looking for a resting place, you're looking for a direction. What you should be focused on is not so much a one stop or a one fix where you'll be set for life. No, you should consider it a mission where you will continuously be offered advancements within your own organization, or perhaps stepstones into other types of organizations. And I think it's the responsibility of the individual to assess your place, your value, your growth, and then follow along in that sense and create your own future. So I think that's the mindset you should have when entering into an international organization.
Many of our interns are concerned about whether they will get paid during their internship in international organizations. Could you share with us about this?
Yes, I know that is a concern of some, but I would have to say that entering as an intern in an international organization is a great opportunity, and you should consider it an investment into your own future and development. I think if the lack of payment, so to speak, or lack of compensation for you is prohibiting you for taking on such an grand opportunity, I think you're missing the point. I think that everybody that wants to work internationally should consider to have a starting point. And remember, being an intern is not your forever position. You will graduate forward, but before you do that, perhaps you should test out the waters to see if it's for you, also to see if you think at the end of the day that you're bringing value as a great intern, because then you will know in your heart that you need to pursue this career. So I would say for anyone that has the capacity and the capability of actually taking on an internship in an international organization, I'd say go for it. It's really not about the compensation. The compensation in the end is your personal growth and development.
The last question is, if the interview fails, what advice or suggestions can you give to the interviewees so that they can improve in the future?
Okay, I understand. You're using the word fails. I would say I would rather use the word not pass, because when we have interviewees which do not pass the interview, we may have remedies for giving them direct advice of how to proceed. For example, you may have students that are lacking a little bit in their English conversation skills. I'm not talking necessarily advanced level or where you have to talk legal or physics or anything in that regard, but just normal conversational skills. What we would recommend to them is that instead of diving into the books and expanding their vocabulary to be 99% of the English language, they should, resort to finding groups where they can playfully interact with other people using the language, so it becomes a natural thing for them to speak English. That's much more important than the more advanced level of study. So that we would recommend. If we have students that we feel may have, or applicants that we feel may have not the right mindset, what we recommend typically is that we ask them to start engaging in group work. For example, work where you may have an overall assignment and you are sort of forced to produce a result and make compromises with yourself. You cannot be too stubborn, because in our way of work, we need to find the balance between different directions. We may even have to compromise between parties that want two different things. So when you are in a group work and you're learning to work with other people that you may not share the same values or ideas with, and at the end of the day, you're learning that the target of meeting that deadline is more important than you are right in that particular moment, that we feel can help broaden the perspective of applicants, and we've seen that happen. Finally, the last thing we see, sometimes applicants can be shy. They can be a little bit introvert and they can feel like this is a big thing, and of course we try our best to calm them down and explain what it is all about, and they shouldn't worry about anything. But again, here, interaction with others where they are being put into situations where they have to open their mouth, they have to speak up, and then they can enjoy the product, the result of the combined work of the team afterwards. That, for many people, actually moves them into the extrovert category. You'll see introvert people suddenly blossom up and become much more useful and much more applicable for the positions we're offering.
Okay, thank you. So that's all for today's interview.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
Mm.